there's like no point where I was like, oh, this is really bad, you know?
And did having type 1 diabetes play any kind of role in the difficulty factor?
Yeah. So that was the one thing that I was a little worried about, and it almost,
yeah, you never know what your body's gonna like go through.
Yeah, because I had never run more than like 10 hours before, because a 50-mile or like 10 hours max. And my blood sugars always stayed pretty good, you know? So I didn't know what was going to happen after 10 hours, you know? So luckily I had a continuous glucose monitor that like works Bluetooth through my phone, so I could see what my numbers are all the time. But coming down off the first lap, so I don't know how, let's see, the first lap, probably like 20 miles in, I guess, like 8 hours in, my blood sugar, it just says over 400 on my phone. It doesn't, once you're that high, it doesn't tell you what your numbers are.
Wow.
I mean, you know, a good blood sugar is like 120, 130.
Right.
So 200's like, okay, I need it to come down, but I can manage it. 400's like,
it's
dude,
scary.
I'm fucked. You know?
Yeah.
So I wasn't, you know, that scared me a little bit, man. I was like, what if I have to go to the emergency room? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Was that just on your last lap that it went that high?
No, that was on the first lap.
Okay.
So that's where he had to overcome the fear now, because he's like,
Well, yeah, that was it. I was like, man, I'm like I had told myself before, like, I'm not going to quit. Like, there's no quitting, like, unless there's a medical emergency, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing was...
But that could happen at any time.
Yeah. And, but the thing was, I had to go back to my car anyway to get the insulin. Yeah. So it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't like I could just stop, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I had my car parked on the road as like an aid station. So I had to go back to my car anyway. Like, it wasn't an option to just stop right there.
Yeah.
So once I made it back to my car, then I took the insulin, and then I was okay, you know?
Wow.
And did it kind of drop back down into normal levels as you went on?
Yeah, but the hard thing was, I you know, like, since I had never experienced this before, like, since it was so high, I didn't want to eat, because, you know, if I eat anything, it's going to make it higher.
Yeah.
So I didn't eat for a couple hours, which you generally want to eat, you know, at least 200 to 300 calories an hour the whole time you're doing this. So I'm pretty sure that slowed me down quite a bit. But I didn't really care at that point. At that point, I was just like, you know what, man, this isn't a race. Like, I just wanted to finish. So I got it under control. And then it happened each lap.
Oh, wow.
At the same spot, almost. Yeah, on the same spot on the trail. Yeah, like coming off the mountain. I was like, this is like weird.
You were kind of expecting it on your third lap.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
well, it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Well,
and
it's
how
like
does
a phenomenon, man? Like, like, there's no reason why. You know what I mean?
How does that make you feel, like, physically? Like,
it really, it like, you get real lethargic, and you can't think
like you're
straight.
gonna puke or what?
No, like really tired. Like,
okay.
Like you want to fall asleep. You know, that. Like you'll just pass out. You know.
Yeah.
And then you have to urinate all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really it really screws with you. But I've experienced it before, like, enough times before. I've never experienced that during a run, but I've experienced it, you know, like at work or whatever before. So it wasn't like, to me, it
out
wasn't
of the normal.
For some people that would have scared the shit out of me. Go to the hospital. But I was like, okay, like, I thought for about 5 minutes I was gonna have to quit the run, but then I was like, you know what, we'll just keep going and see what happens.
Yeah. So I really would love for you to write a book about this.
Just your experiences. Like, you know, you got to tell your story.
Your life experiences.
I mean, you know, I've had like quite a few people tell me that, and I'm like, I want, that's one of my life goals, you know, but it's like,
It doesn't have to be now. It could be.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if I'm ready yet. Like I started writing some stuff down, but I was like, I'm just not into it. Right now.
Well, the thing is you have enough, like even just on your social, on your, anything, anywhere that you're documenting things.
Yeah.
That can all be turned into a book at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And we just recently interviewed Jeff Forrester.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know you're good friends with him. And
he could help you write a book.
Yeah.
He was saying that to Shane.
He's actually sent me some tips. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been reading his book is great, man. His book is it's helped me a lot.
Unleash Potential, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right on.
He's a really, really good guy, and it's funny, man. Like the whole I heard his story on a podcast, and his story was like, I was like, holy shit, that guy just told my story,
Yeah.
And then the podcast host put us in touch. But, we've never met each other.
Yeah.
But if you use social media, in Florida.
Oh,
Florida,
yeah,
that's
Florida.
right.
Yeah. But I mean, we've become friends,
Yeah. That's the beauty of social media is you can have friends like you, for example. Like I consider you one of my good friends, and I've never even met you.
Yeah.
But so I love, that's one of the things that I really take away from social media is the fact that you can
create friends and without even having to be right around them. It's awesome. And you can stay in contact. You get to see what people's lives are, what they're doing. I mean, not everybody shares everything, totally personal, but still you can give each other, virtual high fives, right?
Yeah.
You can, it's awesome.
I've made some great friends on there, man.
And, it's cool. Coaching each other
sweet.
on.
Yeah, there's a lot of good out of it.
So after that crazy, amazing race, what was the next race you did? Was it in Moab? Is that where you went?
Yeah. So about 2 months, maybe
Didn't you meet David Goggins up there?
Oh yeah. So but that wasn't a race. That was we were doing an aid station at the Moab 240.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the racers, and so he came through our aid station.
He's crazy too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so funny story. I'd met him before. I was working at a hotel in Aspen, like the nicest hotel, one of the nicest hotels in the whole world. And I was valet up there, and this was before he got famous, and we didn't really know who he was. And there was this black bald guy, and he would literally walk out the front door of the hotel, take his shirt off, hand us his shirt, and just go running.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who he was.
He's so intense, man.
Dude, he is.
Yeah. So now it's funny. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
But no, he was really nice. My buddy's kid asked him for a picture, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it right now." So
that's cool.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that was the 240. Dude,
Yeah.
How do you even have enough miles to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I used.
It's big. Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Moab for a while when I was a kid.
I mean, it goes I mean, it's not just the Moab. It goes all. I don't know the area that well, but it goes. It's a huge area. It goes through the LaSalle Range.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it ends in the LaSalle. It goes up the LaSalles and then comes down the Porcupine Rim Trail and back into Moab.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where it starts and finishes. Kind of right there by that bridge. You cross the bridge into town or whatever.
So,
that's awesome.
What was your race that you did?
So I did the Dead Horse 50 miler in Moab. That was in November.
And
November
was
21st.
That a little bit easier because it was only 50 miles, or did you experience the same kind of insulin peaks or whatever?
Well, that one was a
50?
PR, right? You did it fast.
Well, 50.
He's like, it's a cakewalk.
Blood sugars. No, my blood sugar stays I mean, it's like within that 9 or 10 hour range, I don't seem to have blood sugar problems.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely a little easier because I learned that during the 100-miler, I learned that I can push myself way harder.
Yeah.
So I've realized that I could run.
And that's probably why
faster.
you did that record or personal.
Yeah. Exactly. Because I knew I was like, I can get a little more out of myself here, you know?
And that's like the greatest thing about running. Like, you realize that your body can handle so much more.
Yeah. And your brain. I mean, that's like kind of been the topic going through my head lately, is like how running 100 miles changed my life, because I've realized that, like, if I can go through that much pain and suffering, like, I can do anything, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's really, I mean, honestly, that's how I feel now. I'm like I any like challenge or, whatever comes, or whatever I'm struggling with in life, it's like, just keep moving forward. Just like in that race, like, it'll pass. That shitty feeling will pass. You'll get through it, and then there'll be, some better feelings, and then you'll go, it's cyclical, but you're never going to stay like when you run 100 miles, man, you might have like a 10 or 15 mile stretch where you just want to quit and you feel like dog shit.
Right.
But eventually you don't quit, you break through that, and then you have 20 miles where you feel really good,
And is that why, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're training to be a firefighter, right?
Yeah, I just started that. I did
and is that where you got that mindset from? Like, that you can accomplish anything?
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of like had it in the back of my mind to do it, but I was like, well, the real reason why I signed up though too is because I was like, man, I've been spending so much time running. Like, I need to do something for the community. I need to get back.
Yeah.
Like, I running that much is cool, but it's like, it is kind of self-centered.
Yeah, it's not really necessarily helping anyone.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, it might inspire some people, but it's not directly being of service to anybody.
Yeah. Well, and the sense of purpose is greater when it is a service to someone else, and that itself can get you through, like you were saying, those times where you're like, man, I want to quit, but you're like, dude, I'm doing this. I'm doing this for them. I'm not just doing this for me.
It's really comparable to running 100-mile race. Like, the mindset that you have to adopt to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's
incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too, is like, with all that, I forgot what I was going to say, man.
It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always wanted to do it. It's, like the biggest thing that all the running brought me this year was like, I always called myself an introvert, and I isolated a lot. And I was like, I really want to be a part of a team. I want to be around people.
A team again.
I want to work with people that are like putting others before themselves, So yeah, that's why I decided to sign up for the fire department. It's just like, I mean, I was missing that aspect,
So I don't know if we for sure mentioned this or not in this podcast. I know we did on the last one. We talked about it, but Seth was a United States Marine, and I'm sure that's where, like, that's the type of community he wants to be a part of again.
Yeah, exactly. The camaraderie, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I miss, because I work at this running store, and honestly, I'm like, man, this sucks, dude. Like, I'm glad I have a job, and we have been very busy. Like, like COVID hasn't affected us. Like, we've actually done way better during COVID. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, this was a great job to have while I was doing these running goals,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I don't want to, like, this job is kind of pointless, Like, I'm like, I want to do something better with my life.
So. Is that where you met your